Hey guys, this is Chris, strat-o-matic Delaware, and we are bringing you the stats show for the 2017 DBL Dead Ball League, the final regular season statistics and standings show. Before we start the best of 7 between the Pirates and the Athletics, and we'll get back around to, we have league leaders and such here, but I thought we would start out with the final standings. The 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates and the 1911 Philadelphia Athletics tied at 12-8. Pittsburgh had won 3 out of 4 games head-to-head, so they will have home field advantage for the championship. The Pirates scored 67 runs and allowed 54. They had a .235 team batting average, lowest in the league, and a .228 team pitching ERA, lowest in the league. The Athletics took a different route at 12-8 as well. They scored 88 runs in 20 games. They allowed 70. They had a .306 team batting average, but a .352 team ERA pitching. Next we have the 1909 Detroit Tigers at 10-10, the 500 mark, 2 games back of the leaders. They scored 57 runs, allowed 65. .253 batting average, .247 team ERA, second best in the league. Followed by the 1905 New York Giants and 1906 Chicago Cubs at 9-11, 3 games back. The Giants scored 63 runs, allowed 65, at a .255 team batting average and a .286 team ERA. The Cubs scored 56 runs and allowed 72 across the plate, .270 team batting average, second best in the league, 3.35 team ERA, second highest in the league. And for the most part, with all of these teams, their position for batting average mirrored their position with ERA from low to high. So the lowest batting average had the lowest ERA, highest batting average had the highest ERA, and it followed that way the whole way through the league. White Sox, they were 8-12, 4 games back, scored 67, allowed 69, a .267 batting average, and a .317 team ERA, both third in the league. Just not a lot of run support when it counted. So we will show you the rest of this sheet at the end of the show, but first let's go ahead and cover the individual teams nearly in order of their standings in the league. We'll start with the 1919 Chicago White Sox, who finished 8-12. We've got batting and pitching, some highlights here. Eddie Collins, a .352 batter, stole 5 bases, scored 11 runs, tied for the team league with runs scored with Bucky Weaver and Joe Jackson. 32 hits for Jackson. He batted .390 to lead the team. Chick Gandil batted .373. He went 28 for 75 there. Scored 6 doubles. 12 RBI by Hat Phelps, led the team in RBI, and he also had 3 triples and 10 walks. And home run, Swede Risberg hit his 2 homers in the first 10 games, but that was enough to hold for the team lead. Also tie for the league lead, which we will get to later. And you look again, team batting. They were .267. They stole 5 bases as a team, not a lot. All Eddie Collins on the base paths. White Sox did not have a lot of speed. As a team, they drew 55 walks, 63 strikeouts. Pretty low on the strikeouts. That is it for White Sox batting. White Sox pitching, .317 was the team ERA. Eddie Seacott led the team with .224 personal ERA, 4 complete games and 2 shutouts. Dickie Kerr had 4 complete games as well. But Eddie Seacott was 2-3, Lefty Williams 3-3, Dickie Kerr 3-3. The bullpen was not the greatest. Sometimes proved to be the downfall for the White Sox. Let us go to the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Tinker Evers Chance, Three-Finger Brown. Had some good players on this team. Two top stealers in the league, Johnny Evers and Frank Chance, with 9 and 8 thefts respectively. Frank Schulte in the running for league MVP. 32 of 81. Led the team with 32 hits. Led the team with 12 runs, 5 doubles, 4 triples, 2 homers. Co-led with 9 RBI and led with a .395 batting average. Not too shabby for Wildfire, the right fielder. Not to leave anybody else out, but that is the player of the Cubs, Frank Schulte. His name was called a lot during the regular season. And you look on the mound. Three-Finger Brown, 60 and a third pitched, 4 and 3, 4 complete games and a shutout. Struck out 26, 2.10 ERA. Ed Rulebach, acquired in that trade from Philadelphia during the great dead ball whiteout. He was a reliever for the Athletics. And when he mistakenly got stuck with the Cubs, we made it a trade. And he became a starter and did much better as a starter for the Cubs. Strange, but pitched 35.2 innings. He went 1 of 2, 2 complete games, struck out 14, 2.81 ERA. Fister, pretty good as a starter, 2.74 ERA. Really, really solid team, just the ball did not bounce their way enough times in order to get on top of the league. Definitely had the tools they needed, it just did not go their way. Next we have the 1905 New York Giants, John McGraw's crew. And there was a little bit to be seen there. Probably the highlight on this team is going to be third in the order, left fielder Sam Mertz. Went 32 for 79, 3 doubles, 4 triples. Even though he was out-hit by Mike Donlin with 7 triples. But Sam Mertz, a .405 batter for the season, stole 6 bases, tied with Art Devlin for that. Now the Giants just had too bad a start. If you'll recall, they started the season 1-5 and made it to the halfway mark at 3-7. So they really clawed their way back, 6-4 in the second half. But it was too little, too late for the start that they had. They were very good in the second half, but they were not stellar enough to take it. On the mound, Christy Mathewson. I mean, McGinnity was okay. He got tagged with 4 losses. Red Ames was 4 losses as well. Only 1 win for him. Iron Man had 2. But Christy Mathewson, old number 6. 58 2/3 innings pitched, 4 2 win-loss record, 5 complete games and a shutout, 40 strikeouts, second best in the league there, and a 2.30 ERA. So the Giants, again, all of these teams were fantastic teams. Someone just had to not be first. And another one that was not first, the 1909 Detroit Tigers, they got closer than the rest. They were 10-10 at the 500 mark. 2 games behind the Pirates and the Athletics. Highlight on this team, you've got to look at the top 2. Or you got to look at 2 and 3, Sam Crawford and Ty Cobb. Crawford, 29 of 88, scored 10 runs, 4 doubles, 3 triples, led the team with 14 RBIs, .330 batting average. Ty Cobb, 29 of 81, 3 doubles, a triple, a homer, 9 RBI, .358 batting average, 11 stolen bases, drew 10 walks. So that is 39 times on base with walks and hits. That doesn't include reaching on an error or a fielder's choice. So 39 in 80 in 91 as far as plate appearances. That's not too shabby. He got on base. Surprisingly only scored 7 runs, but then again he got caught stealing 13 times. He was 11 stolen bases out of 24 tries. The D20 did not like Ty Cobb. It really did not. There were a lot of times where he was rolling horrible against mediocre catchers going to second. rolling 16, 17, 18. Happened a lot to Cobb. It really did. That figure should have been better, but over the course of a season it would average out, I'm sure. On the mound, George Mullen. Above and beyond. Second best pitcher in the league. Only because of what the other pitcher did for his team. George Mullen, 63 innings pitched, league best, 3-3, 6 complete games, league best, 157 ERA, league best. The only thing that kept him from getting pitcher of the year, 3-3. Didn't get the run support he needed, but the other pitcher got his team where they needed to be. And he's on one of the next two teams, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. You're going to have to figure it out, or just wait for the final sheet of paper. Now, I know the Athletics were second because of the face-to-face, but we're saving theirs for last. So next are the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates, 12-8. They won the regular season on a tiebreaker. We'll have home field advantage during the best-of-7 championship series against the Athletics. Couple of stories here. One really big story, Honus Wagner. 27 of 80, 9 doubles, 12 RBI, 338 batter, stole 5 bases, drew 12 walks. Got on base, got around. Fred Clark, 22 of 89 for only 247, but he scored 14 runs, 5 steals, 7 walks, 3 triples. I mean, Fred Clark, argument for, well, because of the batting average, Honus Wagner is probably the most productive player on this team. Fred Clark, with those runs, that run scored total would have to be number 2. You look down at the pitching. Howie Kamnitz, 62 innings pitched, 4-1, 3 complete games. Only 3, but still 3 complete games. Struck out 42 to lead the league in a 2.03 ERA, which was second behind George Mullen of Detroit. Others, Neil Maddox was 3 of 3 on the hill, 4 complete games, struck out only 16, but a 2.77 ERA. I mean, the team ERA of 2.28 for Pittsburgh, best in the league. The Pittsburgh pitching game was just phenomenal all year. Let us go to the final team that we have. 1911 Philadelphia Athletics, the White Elephants. And you will notice some notations here. 3 players had very long hitting streaks through the season. Eddie Collins, second baseman, Cocky Collins, 14-game hitting streak to end the season, games 7 through 20. Stuffy McInnes, first baseman, 15-game hitting streak, games 6 through 20. But story of the year, Frank Home Run Candlestick Maker Baker got a hit in all 20 games. 379 batter, 33 of 87, 8 doubles, 4 triples, 15 RBI. Eddie Collins, another big story. You just look at the batting there. 3.06 team ERA. Stole 14 bases. Hit 15 triples. Scored 88 runs. That's almost 4.5 runs a game. I mean, they did really well in dead ball. They did very well offensively in this league. Conversely, with a 3.52 team ERA, right there's, they were the worst pitching team in the league. You see the bullpen with some really hefty ERA figures there. I mean, Gettysburg Eddie Plank, he hauled the mail. He led the staff, him and Chief Bender. But Plank was 61 2/3 pitched, 5-2, 6 complete games. 6 complete games to lead the league. 1 shutout. Struck out 36, 2.48 ERA. Chief Bender, 51 1/3, 4-1, 5 complete games, 2 shutouts, struck out 26, 2.98 ERA. And they had some good starters, but it was the batting that carried the Athletics to the finals. It was. So back to, and you may have guessed who the player, the MVP is, just in case you didn't. League MVP, Frank Home Run Candlestick Maker Baker, who was Batter of the Year. And that's a lightsaber in my pocket. I'm not happy to see you. He batted .379, 8 doubles, 4 triples, 20-game hitting streak. Pitcher of the Year, Howie Kamnitz of Pittsburgh, 2.03 ERA, 4-1 win-loss record, 62 innings pitched, 3 complete games, 42 strikeouts, and 14 walks. And we have league leaders in statistics at bats. Bucky Weaver with 91, and Eddie Collins of the Athletics variety with 90. Runs scored. Eddie Collins scored 19 runs for the Athletics. Fred Clark 14 for the Pirates. Home Run Baker scored 13 for the Giants. You go over to hits, 2 guys at the top, both Athletics, Baker and Collins, 33 hits each. Doubles, Honus Wagner had 9. Home Run Baker had 8. Chick Gandil was 6. Go to triples, there's a threesome with 4 there, but Mike Donlin, Turkey Donlin, center fielder, Giants, carried the league with 7 triples. 3 batters with 2 homers each, Swede Risberg, Frank Schulte, and Tommy Leach, center fielder for the Pirates, second in their order. Batting average, Sam Mertz, 405, led the league. Danny Murphy, right fielder for the Athletics, 400. Frank Schulte, 395. Shoeless Joe at 390. And Home Run Baker, 379. Stolen bases, Cobb and the Athletics, Eddie Collins with 11 each. Followed by 2 Cubs, Johnny Evers and Frank Chance. And then Donnie Bush had 7 for the Tigers. So Cobb and Bush steal 18 between them. 17 between Evers and Chance. Most walks drawn, Donnie Bush drew 16 walks. And that's getting on base and stealing 7 bases along with it. It's getting it done, small ball way. 12 walks drawn by Honus Wagner, 3 others with 11. Most strikeouts, Bill Abstein, first baseman for the Pirates, and Matty McIntyre, left fielder for the Tigers, had 13 whiffs. And 3 knotted at 12, Jimmy Sheckard, George Moriarty, and Owen Wilson. So let us go to the pitchers. Most innings pitched, George Mullen, Detroit, 63. Howie Kamnitz, Pittsburgh, 62. Gettysburg Eddie and Neil Maddox, 61 2/3 each, and Three Finger Brown had 60.1. Wins, Gettysburg Eddie had 5. Brown, Mathewson, Bender, and Kamnitz tied with 4. Most losses, Ed Summers of the Tigers had 5. Joe McGinnity and Red Ames each had 4. Only 2 saves in the entire season. Kirk Loudermilk and, it's not Kirk, don't remember his first name, of the White Sox, and George Suggs of the Tigers. 1 save each. Back before there was such a thing as saves. Complete games, 2 guys at the top, George Mullen and Eddie Plank, 6 apiece. Christy Mathewson and Chief Bender each had 5. So you've got 11 complete games for 2 Philadelphia Athletics pitchers. There were some losses in there, but those horses went the distance. They hauled the mail. Shutouts, 3 pitchers had 2 shutouts each. Eddie Seacott, Chief Bender, and Vic Willis. Hits allowed, Neil Maddox of Pittsburgh gave up 67. 2 Giants followed him, tied at 66, McGinnity and Christy Mathewson. Surprising Mathewson gave up that many hits, even though he had a 5th best ERA in the league, 2.30. Most walks issued, Eddie Plank issued 26. Dickie Kerr of the White Sox, 25. Red Ames, 20. We go down here to strikeouts. Howie Kamnitz led the league with 42 Ks. Christy Mathewson, 40, right behind him. Red Ames with 37, so 2 Giants, number 2 and 3. Eddie Plank with 36, and Jack Pfister of the Cubs with 34. And your earned run average leaders, George Mullen, 157. Howie Kamnitz, 203. Mordecai Brown, Three-Finger Brown at 210. Eddie Seacott, 224. And Christy Mathewson, 230. So again, that is 2017 dead ball regular season. We are going to have the best of 7 championship series coming up within the next couple of days. Hopefully, we may even have it done if I don't stretch it out and have 1 game a day, which is a distinct possibility. But I am going to live stream every single game I do. That's why I don't really want to lump them up. I want to draw it out a little bit. We're in the home stretch for the Dead Ball League, and I appreciate you guys' support and following the league and following this project. It's been really fun, and I have thoroughly enjoyed visiting some old-time baseball, learning more about the sport, the history of the sport, becoming familiar with the players, their nicknames, their tendencies, who's going to do what, who's on first, I don't know, third base. It's been really fun. It's been educational, and anything that is worth doing should be fun and educational. You should have fun learning about something, and that's what I've done with this Dead Ball League, and that's what I do with strat-o-matic baseball in general. It's fun, and I'm always learning something. Guys, Chris, Strat-o-matic Delaware. Again, Dead Ball League, regular season is in a sack. We've got a 7-game championship series coming up. This is Chris. I said that. Strat-o-matic Delaware, I said that too. Guys, have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful Sunday. And I will see you guys on the tube. Keep on